Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Katie, a member of the CK-12 team, and I will be your moderator for today's preview of FlexBooks 2.0. We're so glad you joined us for this special opportunity to hear from our CK-12 Chief Technology Officer, Miral Shah, and to see the exciting changes we're making with the coming release of FlexBooks 2.0. For many of you, this is the beginning of your second week of live sessions. But if this is the first day of the program for any of you, hopefully you have joined our Google Classroom, since that is where we organize all of our resources, assignments, and archived videos for every session. If you're not doing the whole program, but simply joining us for today, don't worry about Google Classroom at all. Regardless, a few reminders and info about Zoom. Please type any questions that you have for our presenter, Miral, in the Q&A window. He will be taking questions throughout his demo, kind of at the end as he finishes showing it, and then again at the end if we still have more questions coming in. The chat window is where we like for you to introduce yourselves and have a community conversation. But if you have questions for us, it helps us track them by putting them in that Q&A window. And while we are hosting this special preview as part of the CK-12 Certified Educator Program, it is not one of the core sessions, meaning there isn't an assignment that goes with it, and it doesn't count towards your 5 live session requirement. If there are any questions about the Certified Educator Program, we'll have our team here answer them via text or stay on at the end of today's webinar to answer your questions. So given this is meant to be a short webinar preview in FlexBooks 2.0, let's jump right into the content. Without further ado, I introduce you to CK-12's CTO, Miral Shah.
Thank you, Katie. Hello, everyone. My name is Miral Shah, and today we want to share with you some exciting stuff that we have been working for the past few months. And that is the next version of the FlexBook. We call it internally as FlexBook 2.0. Over so many number of years, we have spoken to multiple teachers, curriculum developers, and all the different people who actually make education happen to get their feedback about how they find CK-12 useful in their day-to-day teaching. And what we have learned overwhelmingly is they love our FlexBooks. They love that they have a choice of multimodal content, so they can pick from different modalities, maybe it a text modality or a video or a simulation or a real-world application. They also love our adaptive practice because that makes their life very easy by assigning the adaptive practice to their students, getting it auto-graded, and getting targeted feedback on how their students are doing. They are also quite excited when we show them our simulations and plexes, and we get a lot of engagement from students around this area. And there is a lot of excitement among the teacher community about how they can bring the relevance of real world and interactivity to their learning. It also kind of makes teachers' life fundamentally easier since we have integrated with majority of the learning management system like Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology, and so on. And also, students love asking questions on CK-12 Cafe, where they can get answer from the CK-12 community so that any question they have in their mind, it's answered right there. And there are multiple other things, a lot of feedback that we actually get from them, which is very, very useful. So one of the feedback that we get is like, while they love all these different things, is there a way that we can combine all these things into one holistic offering? And that was main fundamental idea behind FlexBook 2.0. We wanted to make sure that all the teachers get all these different capabilities that they love in one place where they don't have to kind of go at different places to use all these different functionalities. So today I'll be demoing using a prototype that I have on my screen. I'm sorry about that, just give me a second. I hope you all can see my screen. So when we launch FlexBook 2.0, we are planning to launch this in August. And you will see a banner like this one, where it's talking about what our FlexBook 2.0 has to offer. It's a FlexBook which is now more interactive than ever, more intelligent than ever. And finally, it is much more integrated with everything else that CK-12 offers. So we jump right into this. And this is our FlexBook 2.0 landing page, where we demonstrate the different benefits of what FlexBook 2.0 offers to our users. It's integrated, interactive, and intelligent. Here, you will find all the different math and science FlexBook 2.0s that will be launching this August. So this is math, and these are the science FlexBooks. We can dive in right into Algebra 1. Please note that though I'm demoing this particular thing with Algebra 1, it applies to all the different FlexBooks in math as well as in science. The system works very similarly. On this page, which is your Algebra 1 home page, you see everything that you care for, quickly in one glance. The alignment to Common Core standards, for example, the authors who have written, and participate in writing this particular content. How does the FlexBook 2.0 work? And we'll be adding multiple professional development videos which help you understand how to use FlexBook 2.0 better and better inside your classrooms. Below, but while we actually want to offer this amazing, new offering where everything comes together, we have tried our best to make sure that everything that you love about your current FlexBook, you want to preserve that. So this is the familiar TOC that you also find in today's FlexBook. And here are the different sections and chapters of this particular book. I'm going to jump right into the linear functions. And here you will see a lot of different ways the linear function can be taught and learned. We have different modalities. These are the modalities that are handpicked by our authors, which goes really well with the given concept or a section. If you're not sure which one to start with, you can start with the one that CK-12 recommends by using the start button. This is the content of the section, and this is fully integrated with our interactive content. This is a Plex that brings interactivity and real-world application to what you're learning as a student, along with everything that you love about our FlexBook, which is text and images and videos. But now, along with Plex, wherever applicable, you can also dive in right into our simulations. So it's all contextualized for your needs. So you don't have to go and figure out how do I use this Plex in my classroom or how do I introduce the sim in my classroom. Everything is contextualized so that you and your students can easily go through this content and take benefit of all the different things we have to offer. And this is another Plex, which again, conceptually helps you to learn this topic very well. Now here itself, with one click, I can jump into our adaptive practice. What better way to experience adaptive practice, instead of learning while you are going through the content. So with one button click here, I'm already answering the questions. Unfortunately, I got this particular thing wrong. And so I'm going to stop for now and go back. When I go back to this particular screen, I get all the rich information that I'm already used to as a student, which says how many questions I got correct, did I got a strike or not, how much time I spent, and more importantly, what is my skill level on this particular concept. Now, as you saw, I did not do well on this, and I did get some questions incorrect. So I'm going to click on this See Recommendations. And what we want to now do is for all the questions that the student has gotten incorrect, we want to point them to a paragraph within the content that if they understand that paragraph well, they will be able to answer that question correctly. So I click on this Go to Paragraph link here, and the left side of my content jumps right to where the paragraph which if I learn this particular paragraph and the content here well, I should be able to answer this question. So one of the things that we are doing with FlexBook 2.0 is giving really meaningful insights and giving targeted remediation to students whenever they need it. Going to close out of the adaptive practice, and I want to kind of quickly take a pause and give you a view of the simpler, intuitive user interface that we have built, with the goal is to preserve everything you love about our Flexbook, but at the same time, everything else is handy and easily navigatable. So I can go here and click on related modalities, and I can see all the different modalities that I can use to learn linear function, not just the content that I had on my screen before. I can easily get to my notes and highlights that I've created, which helps me kind of remember the important parts of this particular topic. I can also easily access the resources and files that is available to me. And again, for a better reading experience, they can manipulate the font size, the font type, and everything, line spacing, whatnot, so that it makes a much better user experience to consume the content. You can also, if you're a teacher, you will see this button where you can easily, by one click, assign this particular modality or this concept to using your CK-12 online class or Google Classroom. We'll be adding multiple different LMS integrations here, starting with Schoology and Canvas and more. So our goal is to make sure, again, as we are uniting all our offerings, the thing that you love, which is multimodality, interactive content, integration with learning management system, right there, one click away, most of these things. You can also navigate to the different areas that you have been using on a day-to-day basis, like CK-12's dashboard, your classes at CK-12, your library, etc. And then you can also navigate and through a TOC, which is always persistent on this particular view. So you know exactly where you are and where you need to go next as a student. I'm going to go back to my course homepage. And now I'm going to demo a couple of things that has been overwhelmingly used for CK-12 Flexbook. One being customization. So on my course homepage, I can go to Algebra 1 and click this button called Customize. And there you go. With one button click, you are now customizing your FlexBook 2.0. Once you're done customizing this, you can just click on Save button and you come back to the homepage with the updated view. Also, we want to make sure that your life is much simpler than before in terms of how you assign content. So I'm going to click on this button called Assign. And the system is asking me if I want to assign it to CK-12 online class or I want to assign to Google Classroom. For this demo, I'm going to just click on CK-12. I'm going to select the class that I want to assign it to, period 5. And then I'm going to choose the unit. So for example, I'm going to choose a unit called Introduction to Functions. And then it shows all the different concepts inside this or sections inside this particular chapter. I can start filling in the start date and due date of this particular assignment after assignment, and then just click button assign. And all the assignments are assigned. So you don't have to kind of go individually for one assignment at a time and make an assignment. Now you can do bulk assignments. So your planning can be much simpler than ever. So I think these are some of the things that we'll be launching in August. While I'm at this, I also want to share some of the really exciting things that will be launching in around January of 2019. And those things are regarding the intelligence and insights. So we want to make sure that FlexBook 2.0 serves as a platform where we are giving multiple intelligent insights to teachers as well as students. So if I navigate back to my content, I see this button called Insights over here. So imagine that you have assigned this particular thing called linear equation to your students, and all your students have taken this particular assignment where they have gone through the content and they have taken an adaptive practice. I click on the button Insights and I see all of my students here. Everybody has been doing so far so good, and April and Samantha has kind of gone through some struggles, which we can find out what exactly they struggled with. So I can click on this link called View Insights, and I can get much more detailed information about what they have done on this particular assignment, how much time they have spent, what was their engagement level, and what was their skill level. So we want to make sure that, and this will keep enhancing based on your feedback about what makes your life easier, what gives you the insight that you require to help your students. So this is coming, and we're very excited about all the different information we can present to you. This is above and beyond all the information that we already give in our reports. That will continue to be there, and will be continuing to enhance based on your feedback. Other thing that we are very excited about is, how, since students love asking different questions on CK-12 Cafe and getting benefits of, somebody from CK-12 community answering that, how do we again make sure that this is available right here? So you can click this particular icon and you can ask any question that you want. So what is slope? And the system will try to answer that particular question. If the system cannot automatically answer that particular question, it will post it on CK-12 Cafe so that somebody from CK-12 community can help answer that particular question. And last but not the least, we are also making the student side of FlexBook much more intelligent and personalized. So now imagine I am a student and I go to my Algebra 1 FlexBook. I see a button called Start Course. I can click on this and the system will ask me if I would like to personalize this particular course. And if I say yes, it gives me a diagnostic test. And based on my performance of the diagnostic test, it tells me the things that I'm already good at and things that needs work. So I can then navigate through different pieces and it will tell me okay, I'm already proficient on linear function. I just completed graphs and equations, and I'm right now on piecewise linear functions. So this is basically, what we are very excited on, and we have been working for many, many months to create a FlexBook that is interactive, intelligent, and integrated with all the things that CK-12 has to offer. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Miral. I'm gonna just swap back for a second. Actually, if you can pull that demo up, we will have you show a few other things there as well. So some of the questions that came in had to do with kind of what would be available. So will all the current FlexBooks be available? That includes, are we uploading our elementary science content? So maybe if you could talk about what that looks like in terms of what will be available and when.
Absolutely. So in August, we are planning to launch Common Core Math and Science content. And some of the feature enhancement that I spoke about in terms of diagnostic test, in terms of insights, and in terms of integrating CK-12 Cafe, those will be launched in January of 2019. But Common Core Math and Science will be available this August.
But the plan is to put the rest of them in the system eventually.
Yes. So more and more things will actually be started to be offered in FlexBook 2.0 format. And basically FlexBook 2.0 is nothing but it kind of builds on our current FlexBook and provides all these different features much integrated. So yes, the plan is to do a controlled rollout so that we can start giving benefit to our users, no matter which FlexBook they're using.
Thanks. And then we had a question. So I know for the Algebra 1 book, the Common Core book, there's a teacher's edition available. Would that be available in this kind of view, and how would that work?
So this mainly is structured for a FlexBook that you use with your students. So for the teacher's version, we have honestly not decided it would be available in this version or our classic FlexBook version. So we'll have to get back to you on this. But this mainly we are shooting for a version that you will use with your students.
So maybe along those lines, there's the question, do we need to work in both FlexBooks 1.0 and 2.0? It sounds like depending on how the teacher books roll out, you may want to reference those in the original FlexBooks, but you could work just within one environment or the other. Is that correct?
Yes, you can. So in August, again, we're launching only CK-12's FlexBook and the select few that I mentioned. And then we're also working with few school districts who wants to pilot going from classic FlexBook to FlexBook 2.0. And we'll encourage any school district who wants to work with us in that particular pilot during this fall. But otherwise, when we make this FlexBook 2.0 widely available to everybody else, then you can convert your FlexBook classic FlexBook to FlexBook 2.0 very easily. But you can maintain copies of both. But we'll encourage, once you convert a classic FlexBook to FlexBook 2.0, to start using FlexBook 2.0 infrastructure, because it's just much more integrated, and all the benefits that I just showed, you can benefit from that.
So kind of along those lines, if they want to customize a book, do they need to wait until we release this, or could they start with the customization within our current platform and then go from there?
Our current platform works as is. There is absolutely no change. So you can continue using our classic FlexBook. You can customize the way you want. You can make assignments. You can do everything that you used to do. This is a new feature that we are launching that will be rolling out, and you may or may not take advantage of this. This is completely up to you. But we wanted to show you what we want to offer in this August and how the platform will keep shaping every 6 months, and how it gets so exciting that you want to take advantage of this going forward. But otherwise, the classic FlexBooks are equally supported as they were before.
Great. So they can go and customize and work their way through, and whenever they're ready and it's available, convert accordingly. And then kind of the last question that we have in here, so when we launch in August, our math resources will be those new Common Core math books that we've been rolling out. The science resources are based on our current science offerings. We're building our NGSS offerings. So those will be kind of the original books that we had on our site versus the upcoming any offerings for NGSS. But the math ones, if I'm understanding this correctly, are actually going to be our newest Common Core resources. And so this question says, how does the FlexBooks 2.0 compare to the new math textbook? So if you want to just kind of explain, I believe they're the same.
Yes, so the Common Core FlexBooks will be launched via the FlexBook 2.0 architecture or user interface. So they are exactly the same.
Great. So it looks like we are out of questions in the Q&A. I'm going to maybe steal the screen back and do a little bit of wrap up here. But if you have more questions, we will stay on and answer those pieces as well. So let me go ahead and do that. 1 second.
And I also wanted to add one thing. One of the key motivation to do this particular webinar was to show you what FlexBook 2.0 is, what motivated the creation of FlexBook 2.0, and where is it going. We will love any feedback that you might have so that we can improve the FlexBook 2.0 so that it suits your needs. So please feel free to kind of ask any question right now, but if otherwise, feel free to email us and we'll be happy to answer, or if you're interested in helping us making FlexBook 2.0 better, we'll love to get your advice. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you one more question just to clarify before I go in here. So this person is saying, I don't want to customize twice. I want to wait before customizing. My understanding is that if you are doing any customization work in your book, that the point at which you have the option to convert, all of that customization work will come with you, and you would be able to convert that into FlexBooks 2.0. So they don't need to then re-customize any kind of table of contents or pieces in there. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
And in our first release, it's just this core content. The ability to convert your stuff will be down the road as well.
That is correct.
Great. So it actually looks like we're getting a bunch more questions in here. So maybe we'll take another few minutes before I steal this back. So we have questions between kind of release dates, I guess. So do we have, right now we're saying sometime in August, we don't have a specific date in August?
Yeah, we're trying our best to give you a specific date, but right now we don't have a specific date. So we're shooting for in August. That's all we can say.
Great, thanks. So feel free to continue to put some questions in there. Some of them we'll try to answer via text, and then we'll go back and see if we can answer some other pieces as we go. But let me share my screen for a second and just wrap up some core information in case anyone is trying to head out of here and they have all their questions answered. So just a reminder that this is part of the Certified Educator Program. We're doing this extra offering specifically, for everyone, but encouraging those that are in that program to kind of learn a little bit more about what's upcoming. If you're interested in learning more about that program, you can do so at ck12.org/certified. You can see our alumni. You can still sign up for sessions. We have one more week of sessions this week. So if you wanted to join us for that program, go check that out there. We're also offering, in addition to this offering today, an exciting new thing. We're doing live chats this Friday on the 20th. So you can see there the time for some of them, and Felix is going to post those direct registration links in the chat window for us. We also sent out an email about them on Friday, so you could register directly from there or in the CEP Google class if you want to kind of talk to other educators in your field or area. And then another offering today was with our CTO about our preview. This Wednesday, we're doing an Ask Me Anything with our founder. So Nira Khosla will be asking questions about, it looks like we've gotten some questions in here about kind of broader topics beyond preview pieces, where CK-12 is going, how we got here. So some of those might be great questions for our founder. So you might want to join us this Wednesday. And that registration link is just posted in the chat window. Also in Google Classroom, also in that email that went out on Friday. So feel free to join us for that as well. If you're trying to connect with other educators in addition to those live chats, we recommend you join our Jumpstart for Educators Cafe. That is under that little cafe icon within CK-12, so you can check that out. You can ask questions of us, ask questions of other teachers, and say, how did you use CK-12 in your class, and things like that. So feel free to join us for those pieces. We also have a feedback form. This is the same form for all of our sessions for the summer. If you have comments for us about this, if you have questions for us, you're welcome to kind of put some pieces in there and let us know how we're doing and what we can do kind of next as we work our way through this program and future offerings of trainings for you guys and preview pieces. So please feel free to check that out. And we can post that in the chat window as well, or you would find that in the CEP Google class. We would love it if you let your social networks know about CK-12 and your participation in our webinars. So we're at CK-12 Foundation on Facebook, similarly on Twitter, and you can use the hashtag CK-12 Certified to post anything about this particular session or this program as a whole. So please feel free to do that. So I think with that, I'm going to say thank you. We're going to go back to that Q&A to answer some questions. If for any reason we missed something or you come up with a question down the road, please feel free to email support@ck12.org. That's also a great option, as Miral mentioned briefly. If you are looking to be one of those pilot schools that does that initial conversion as we're working on the back end, so you want to take your content and get it into this new FlexBooks 2.0 platform, please email us and let us know, and we'll see if we can work with you to get that on the sooner end rather than later end. Or if you're interested in kind of being on that advisory group that helps us as we think about kind of how this plays out and what it looks like. So that type of piloting option, please email support@ck12.org. So it looks like we have some questions kind of in here. Let's see if we can go to them in a second and answer any. So it looks like we have a question with CK-12 compatibility with Canvas. So our current platform with CK-12 is currently available in Canvas. you can go to our tools and apps page at the bottom of CK-12.org and actually access that piece and get an LTI key and get it set up. And if you do that, you can assign everything within there. And Miral, I believe that as we continue to develop FlexBooks 2.0, we'll be able to make that available in Canvas as well.
Absolutely. We'll be adding Schoology and Canvas integration soon in FlexBook 2.0.
So I think we are out of questions at this time. Hopefully this was helpful to kind of think about different pieces in how you might use CK-12, where we're going, what looks like next. And so since our Q&A window is closed, if we missed anything, if you posted it in chat and we missed a question there, just let us know. And we will definitely send an email out when FlexBooks 2.0 is available. We will announce that per usual with that and all of our other upcoming resources. So I think with one last question just snuck in. The 2.0 release will have our CCSS content. Our NGSS content is still in development, so that will be rolled out when that is available. It will not be in our initial rollout in August. So I think with that, we're going to wrap this up, and let us know if you have any questions at support@ck12.org, and we look forward to seeing you in future offerings.